Happy Sunday, everyone. It's March 20th, 2022. I haven't done any videos in about a month. I've been going back and forth to Connecticut to take care of some renovations. And I've actually been reading a bunch of books. So on the weekends, when I start reading a book, and that is how it's been when I started reading a lot after I graduated college, I actually learned a lot more by reading for myself, not reading because someone was paying me or reading to get good grades. So I read Robert Kiyosaki books, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read two of his books. I reread Art of War. I read two other books, and I'm actually reading a book by a furrow on Twitter, Bear Bull Trading, about trading psychology. So I'm going to hit you off with a couple of videos. This first video is extremely important. It has to deal with earnings. I actually did a post about this a few weeks ago. I was going to do a video, but as I said, I got deep into reading and I was reading 8 to 10 hours a day and I wasn't paid for that. So a lot of times what I try to tell people, like, it doesn't hurt to empower yourself to improve and tone your skills and be better at something and learn something. Because nothing is better than self-education and the possibilities of seeing an opportunity and taking advantage of it. So with earnings, I don't know how it was. I do know how it was in school. Passing generally is 65, and 65 is not a good score. 65 is just passing. Now, the funny thing is, even people that got 65, 75, 85, I'm not saying that everyone that got these scores on these tests studied, but at least some of the people that got those scores at least spent 10, 20, 30 minutes studying before a test, or at least trying to skim through a chapter so that they could pass the test, at least pass. What's the funny thing with the stock market, you have a lot of new traders that won't even spend 2 minutes to go to a free Yahoo webpage. I still use Yahoo. I've been using Yahoo since the 90s to just take a look at basic stuff like PE ratio, market cap, the last earnings, the last four. They show it for free on Yahoo. Even on Yahoo, they show the next year's estimates, and it's all free. So I'm not telling you to do like I do. I spend 2 to 3 hours. I prefer going to the SEC online because it has no bias. I have a video on that. Anytime you want to see non-biased information that just has the numbers, go to the SEC website, because the company submits that to the SEC, and according to the company, that is legitimate. Now, I've heard some things saying I'm spreading FUD by giving pictures of the exact SEC filing of a 10Q or 10K. Now, come on. Let's get serious here. I would be a multi-billionaire, if not trillionaire, if I can edit all the financial documents on the SEC website. What I'm trying to say is that's 100%. Unless a company is just flat out lying, which it happened in the past, but now every publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ has to have at least 2, some of them have 3 accounting firms that audit the reports before they get submitted to the SEC. Now, I'm not saying if you read a Wall Street Journal article or a Yahoo article or a Benzinga article that they're lying about the stuff from the 10Q or the 10K, but they're going to edit out a lot of important information. So I'm not expecting you guys to go to the SEC website, but what I'm trying to tell you is the SEC website is legit. Whatever's there is going from the company without an author giving their opinion or taking out facts that you need, which I understand, because if I was a writer and I was bullish on the stock, I would omit stuff that doesn't look good. And if I was bearish, I would omit stuff, that look good. That's natural, but that's why I'm saying you can't do that. So we're going to go into the earnings. I'm going to spend maybe 4 or 5 minutes on this. But basically, when you got a 65 in school, you were passing. Now, you weren't doing it for money, you were doing it for grades. So if you're out there, even if you're investing just $100, do you care about the $100? If you tell me you don't care about the $100, you're just making a bet and you're gambling, fine. But if you care about your money, whether it be $1,000, $10,000, $100, I would at least go to Yahoo and take a look at the last 4 earnings, maybe the future earnings. So this is money. So whether or not money is important to you, that's up to you. I'm also saying that because a lot of people don't want the truth. They want positive reinforcement for bad decisions, which to me doesn't make any sense. So in other words, I am strict on my grading, but that's a good thing, because if you're strict on your grading, the companies that you're buying are legitimate. So do not be light on your grading. Now, you can have a piece of paper and do it like a report card, because that's basically how I do it when I want to judge a company. So if a company is supposed to make $1 and a company is supposed to have 100 million in sales, in order to receive a 65 grading scale, they need to earn $1 on that report and have 100 million. So if you just meet what is supposed to happen, you get a 65. If you beat the top or the bottom, top is sales. If you beat the top or the bottom by 3%, so let's say you made 103 million in sales, but made $1. So you only beat one of the numbers by 3%. So then I can give you a 70. If you beat both the top and the bottom by 3%, I can give you a 75. And then if you beat the top and the bottom by 5%, then that's when I can give you an 80. And what happens is a lot of the legacy companies, the companies that have been around for a long, long time, rarely get over an 80. Why is that? Because those companies rarely grow because they've been around so much. They grow through acquisitions generally. So a lot of those companies that have been around for a long time, they go and buy a company that's growing, put it into their own company, and as long as the company they're buying doesn't lose a lot of money, it's going to increase the revenue growth. So generally, you're going to get, if you're going with old school companies, they're not going to beat both top and bottom line. In this instance, they're really not going to beat 105 million in sales and make $1.05 if it's an old school company. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but basically that's like an 80 score. For an old school company to get over an 80 score is rare. If they beat the top by 10% and the bottom by 5%, give it an 85. To get a 90 score, you have to beat both by 10%. Both. Now, I understand, like I'm saying, my grading scale is tough, but this is money. And to me, money is not important. Sorry to say this, but money is not important. Why? Money is paper, okay? Money is made over and over again. And I've wasted so much money in over 40 cars. I have over 40 cars. And basically, that's my age. So that gives you an idea of how much I've wasted, and you can get money and just re-spend it again. So if money is important to you, do not just give away grades. Because I see a lot of people where earnings, the top line beat was like 1% or 2%. Like I'm Bumble. The bottom line, they missed. So to me, and like I said, I'm a tough grader. I'm a tough grader. If If you beat the top line sales and miss on the bottom line, no matter how much you beat on the top line, let's say you were supposed to, in this instance, you were supposed to do 100 million in sales and you did 125 million in sales, but you did not make a dollar. You made 99 cents. So just you missed it by a penny. You can no longer get over 70. I don't care if you beat sales by 150%. Why? Because that could just be one quarter. Now, if they do that again, that's different. But I've been in this a long time. That doesn't normally happen. So if a company destroys on the top line once, normally it beats on the bottom line. If it destroys on the top line once and misses on the bottom line, that usually means the next quarter things will regulate. You know, maybe they maybe they spent a lot of money in advertising. Maybe they spent a lot of money to get a new contract. So that new contract made sales go up, but the cost of getting that made the earnings go down. So it brought it up that quarter. So it can't normally happen the next quarter. I'm not saying it doesn't, but we're going by normal. So if you beat the bottom or the top line by a ton, but you miss one of the numbers, you cannot receive over a 70. Now, what I'm saying is, in this quarter, most of the companies are going to receive a 60 grading scale. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. A 60 grading scale is when you miss a top, but you beat the bottom. So a lot of the companies now, and this is not just Nathan, go by my grading scale here. Okay, we're seeing a lot of companies the last few weeks that beat one number but miss the other number. Generally, that gets a 60 for me. Why? Like I said, to receive a 65, you have to meet bottom and top line. If you beat both by 1%, I don't even know if I can give you a 70. You need to beat one of the numbers by 3% to get a 70. If you beat both numbers by 1%, that's not a great report. Come on, that's basically in line. So if you want to just throw out grades, see your company beat by 1% and say, hey, this is an awesome report, 75. Now, who are you kidding? This is your money. Do you care about your money? So you want to put a whole bunch of money in when your company didn't destroy top or bottom line. They beat both, but by a tiny, tiny fraction. Don't do it to yourself. I've been trading since the 90s. I keep saying that because this is experience. Okay, when a company doesn't beat by a lot, in the future, the next quarter, normally they don't beat again. Usually there's momentum. When a company destroys top and bottom line on one quarter, you check on the second quarter, and if they destroy on two, then I put it in my list called plays. If they destroy on for one quarter on top and bottom line, I'm gonna put it in my list called earnings watch. So those are important things. There could be companies that you don't trade that you're researching, okay, or you just see the earnings. So whenever you're not sure about trading or not, I create a list called earnings watch. So when I have a company that destroys, I put an earnings watch. Destroys is at least 5% on top and bottom line. Like I said, my grading scale is it's not easy. It's not easy because if you have a company, like I said, that beats both top and bottom line by 5%, it gets an 80, and that's good. But it's not great like, oh, I better buy it. Wow. You know, to receive like a 95, you gotta beat by like 15% on both. So it's not easy to do this, but like I said, it's money. If money is important to you, you wanna buy stuff that destroys by a lot. Some examples that are destroying by a lot in the past quarter. And BZH, Beazer Homes, is cheap, but people don't like it. Upstart, UPST, Archer Daniels, ADM. Another company that destroyed, well, actually, not that. Uber. Uber was supposed to lose money. They actually made money and came huge beat on sales. Not light, huge beat on sales. So that's why I actually bought Uber stock. So what does that tell me? When they beat huge on both, chances are they're going to beat by a lot. Not huge, but by a lot. So I actually own the sales. So that's 4 companies. Another company that beat huge was Lumber Liquidators, LL. The thing is, the stock market is a popularity contest. It's not nothing else, because GameStop, I'm sorry to tell you, I know a lot of people like GameStop. GameStop, the fourth quarter, the holiday quarter, the quarter that a company is supposed to make the most money doing retail, they were supposed to make 85 cents. They lost $1.86. They didn't even beat sales by 1%. They did not beat sales estimates by 1%. But instead of making 85 cents, they lost $1.86. Last year, they made 119. Okay, so when a company misses huge on like a bottom line or a top line, huge. I mean, huge is like at least 10 or 15%. And with the bottom line here, they lost way more than that. You're going to have to give it like a 50. If it misses huge on both bottom and top line, if you want to give it any number between a 10 and a 50, give it a number between 10 and 50. So that's video number 1, earnings. Remember, don't be so easy on these companies, because this is your money. Do you care about your money? So do not be so easy on grading scores on earnings. It's very, very important, because it's your money. All right?